Welcome to the Smite Forest Chronicles. Today episode, Daggerford. At least we hope we get to Daggerford. All right, so when you guys were last here, I think, man, what did you do last time? You snooped around the airships, right? Sort of all congregated on this ship. Stephanos had found, I believe it was Stephanos, a gem of wayfinding, which you haven't completely studied yet. But you guys plopped it into that little box in this airship, and this thing's just started to move. And as you did that and stepped off of the other ship, the other airship where you took the gem from, did a 180 and started heading back to wherever it came from. So you put some puzzle pieces together and realized that this gem has something to do with wayfinding. Tyros, you can take a closer look at it in your inventory if you want, and you're standing right by it, studying it, investigating it, and you could possibly learn a couple of things. Further, you played with your Arcanic Wayfinder parts that you had, assembled some of them, and realized that they snap into that box. So you could withdraw that gem on its own and snap it into the box. So there's some interplay going. It is 10:30 a.m. in the game. You guys are ready to roll. You're heading west. There's someone that I forgot to drag onto the screen, so let me give you him. So, you don't want to forget this guy. He's a good chap and has been with you for a long time.
There's
Okay.
that thing with Salem. It's
What's
the
that?
only character I can go to now. Oh, there we go. Never mind.
Yeah, so there's Spanky. A couple of other things. Some of you have found outfits. If you right-click your character and you see a little swirl, that means that you can change clothes. Aaron, you can do that by right-clicking your character. As well, you have a cultist outfit. So those of you who found outfits, I believe, are optimized for them. And at will. Out of combat, you can change into and out of whatever you want. In combat, that requires either a bonus action or an action, right, to disguise yourself. So, like, if you run into a room and you're like, oh crap, I meant to, too late, right? So, like, it's a thing. But you're not in combat, so, do what you need to do. As a matter of fact, Spanky's gonna put on his sneaking around stuff, see? Ooh, he has 3. There's Spanky. There's normal Spanky.
Did Spanky ever give me my 10 quid?
He did. But no, he didn't know what the hell you were talking about with quid, so instead he gave you 10 silver, remember?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right, so you're sort of heading east. Are any of you hurt? I don't recall. I think we did a long rest last time.
We did a long rest, so everybody attuned to what they needed to, and our strength is back.
Verify
and spell
because
spots are back.
because I re-imported some of you guys from D&D Beyond. Could you reaffirm that your attunement's held? Because sometimes they will reset.
Yeah, mine's 4 out of 3, so I'm like over attuned.
Yeah, you need to unattune from something. So if we look at your inventory,
yeah, I think we attuned you to something, and then we realized afterwards, like, we think.
Well, she was already attuned to a bunch, right? So anything that's black.
I'm unattuned to this. I can't update the token. I lack the ability to update tokens now.
No, I have to. Which one do you want to unattune from? I have to do it for you.
The Staff of Healing.
Staff of Healing.
See everyone.
Oh, you're not attuned to that. You're attuned to.
Oh. Okay.
The larva staff, the dragon's thing. Why does it say you're attuned to 4 things?
Keeps telling me I'm over attuned.
Yeah.
Are you attuned to slippers of spider climbing?
I'm doing the Baphomet's Ord.
I'm gonna
striding.
I'm unattuning you from everything, and then we're gonna
Okay.
and then we're gonna go from there. I only see you attuned to 2 things.
Well, I want to be attuned to Baphomet's Dragon Slayer, Baphomet's Orb of Dragonkind, and my and that's it right now.
Okay, let me see here.
I do.
So you're not. I don't see you being attuned to anything right now, but it says you're attuned to 2 things, doesn't it?
Yes.
So what do you?
But on my
wonder
side, it does have me attuned.
Oh wait, there we go. Hold on. Boots of Springing, break attunement, and orb. Hold on. I don't know if I so let me see. This break attunement. Sometimes there's ramifications, as Dinjarin found out.
Right. I don't want to unattune from my Baphomet stuff.
Okay, so yeah, we have to reattune. Yeah, because I just wanted to make sure that I was just resetting it. We're gonna put it back to where it was. All right, so you have Baphomets, you have the orb, you have the sword. What else? What was the third thing you wanted?
Just those 2 right now. Those are the only ones that I've actively.
No, you attuned to the larva mage staff as well.
No,
I think.
Yeah, I have, but I don't want to be attuned to it anymore.
That requires to break that attunement requires a long rest.
Oh, then then I'll keep it. I'll just.
Yeah,
But we could assume because she wasn't there for the long rest. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
It's fine.
No,
I'll just keep it. I'm fine with it.
Dinjarin's right. Dinjarin's right. Like we were making calls for you. So if you want to, if the 2 of the 3 things you want to be assigned to are Baphomets.
I'm fine with keeping the mage staff on.
Well, did you want to look at the other things just in case?
Yeah, but it's all right. Cause I mean, okay, I'll do this up for everyone. Should I change it to Amulet of Proof Against Detection and Location?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Or should I keep my Larva Mage Staff, which helps me?
Yeah,
3 charges with recharge.
Yeah, so just to be sure you understand, the Amulet of Proof Against Detection and Location, it only is hidden from magical detection of you.
No,
right,
then I just want to keep my Mage Staff. Then it's fine.
Okay, sounds good. So let me reattune you to that, and tune.
I hope the larva mage stuff makes people throw up slugs like in Harry Potter. That'd be pretty awesome.
A couple of things I wanted to remind you of, and so I fixed all of your items, so that's why some of this nonsense had to happen. A couple of things to keep in mind. For some of you have inspiration, just as a reminder. Like, I'm not saying to do anything with it, but just remember, you guys, you might want to just check out what inspiration cards you have, so that we can, maintain that awareness. Also, there's a new, I don't know if we played with this last time, but there's a new feature. So if you highlight your character, it might pop, like you might see a window open up on the left. Did that happen for anybody when you highlight the person?
Like just select them on the map, or just?
Yeah, so like select your token and see if a on the left hand side slides open.
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you see a hand with a finger pointing to the left?
Okay, that's cool.
I guess I have it set up so it doesn't automatically do it for people on MacBooks. So this could potentially replace the HUD, and it absolutely can replace going into your character sheet. So everything that you can do is organized over there. You can expand the skill section and roll right from there if you wanted to. You can click, one of the things in the top and roll. If you have multiple characters, whichever character you're highlighting will show up in that. I mainly put this for me because I'm continually having to open up character sheets for every character that I'm fighting you guys with and any of your characters I'm controlling. So this was a quality of life for me. So there you go. All right, you guys ready to roll? All right. Well, Tyros, you are the leader. Silence is you guys are either doing your compliance compliance training or,
Oh,
or who knows.
yes. Sorry, ready to roll.
Yeah. So Tyros, you're the leader unless you guys want to vote and maybe make Toph the leader. That'd be hilarious. So you guys are, it's 10:30 in the morning. You guys think you're going to Daggerford based on your conversations with Spanky, based on sort of the direction you're heading. On the map, you've done some sort of noodling and have sort of tried to identify roughly where you are. You're still over the Black Road. If anyone wants to see where you are, where you estimate you are, I'm happy to pull that up. If you guys want to see on the map, it's up to you.
I want to
Yeah,
ask.
can you drop an X where we are?
Yeah.
Oh, we are right there. Never mind, I see the ship.
Yeah, you're roughly. I think it's. Oh, by the way, those who are as annoyed with angles as me, if you hold Shift, you can rotate. But did you know that if you hold Command or Alt, depending on what kind of keyboard you have, you can rotate specifically what angle you want?
All right.
Yeah. And Daggerford is on the map as you see over here. Right? So roughly over there.
I want to ask Spanky, like, what does he know about Daggerford? What kind of information can he give us? Like, who's like the main? Is there a main noble in charge? Like, who are the main authority? Is it overrun with like criminals? Like, as much information on Daggerford as we can get. That
Who's
he's
this dude?
aware of.
Sorry, who's this dude?
Spanky.
Spanky?
Your old friend Spanky. Come on, how can you not remember
Oh,
Spanky?
Spanky. I'm sorry. I got confused. Sorry.
It's okay, I get confused all the time. Not a big deal. Well, first off, I want to thank you all for freeing me from my locked room. Totally uncool what those guys were doing to me. That said, yeah, look, this is a weird. It's that the gods have smiled upon us. I was on my way to intercept you, to take you to Daggerford. Now, I personally haven't spent much time in Daggerford, but my task was to connect you with one of the Harpers, a Mr. Jazz Hands is his name, and he has most of the details that you need, and can maybe tell you about the city. But all I can tell you is it's part of the Lost Coast. It's for those who have been to Neverwinter, it's sort of just as the crow flies, south of Neverwinter. It's a lovely little port city, where the sea turns into rivers and pathways leading east. Between Flan and Daggerford are any number of landscapes. We've got desert and forests and farmlands and you name it, and we're gonna cross it. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But did you want to know something specific, Dinjarin?
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it overthrown by the Cult of the Black Dragon? Like, so is there a huge faction of the Cult of the Black Dragon? Is that why we were being summoned?
I don't know the details. I know it has something to do with Wayfinder. I know it has something to do with the Black Cult of the Dragon sort of going from being sort of hidden to amassing or something that I don't really have the details around. I will say that the Harpers wouldn't send me to a place that is controlled by the Black Dragon, so I would imagine worst case scenario is they have maybe some presence, but are not in control. Right? But Mr. Jazzhands can probably answer most of that for you.
And would you happen to know if say, like, money was no cost, is there a good place to go buy some really heavy-hitting magical weapons?
That's above my pay grade. You'd have to ask someone privy to either shady goods or magical items. Now, Daggerford's a port city, so it is filled with scoundrels, but I don't know that it's a lot of people pass through. So maybe there's something there, but I can't tell you for sure. You're going to find a merchant, with the back room you're looking for. Now there are rumors. There are rumors that in the Badlands, there's an oasis with a merchant that does traffic in some of the shadier goods. But quite honestly, most of the adventurers I know, when they find something spectacular, it's typically not something they purchase. It's more often than not something that they find or are rewarded with.
Yeah, usually those type of merchants may have information on certain things that could be of interest. Do you at least know of a good place to get some ale and scones?
Ah, yes. Absolutely. And if you're looking to get your eat and drink on, then you'll be delighted to find out that if indeed this is taking us to Daggerford, then it should stop somewhere near the Pickled Wyvern, which is where I was going to connect you with Mr. Jazzhand. So that sounds pretty awesome to me.
Excellent news.
One last question. Do you happen to know what the real estate market in Daggerford is like these days? Is it like if we wanted to buy a summer home over here, could we do that too?
I'm sure there's properties available, but I'm not like I said, I'm as unsure of the area as you are, right? My stomping ground's Flan, right? So you want to hook you up with drinks at the at Madame Friona's tea kettle? I can do that, right? Laughing Goblin, I can hook you up. Property, Beth Bestus, real estate agent, good friend, I can hook you up.
Well, thanks for the
All
info.
right.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Might
Have we
I
thoroughly
recommend
searched this tank?
Yeah, I was gonna say, might I recommend that we continue the search? I believe when you guys were last here, you checked out the second level area. Has anyone spent any time in the bilge to see if there's anything down there?
Not that I know of.
I believe we
should head
did.
down.
I think
We
we went
did?
on all three.
That might have been the other ship, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't remember.
Well, I know that you guys wandered around, but did you do like thorough investigations of each level, or just sort of cursory wandering through? Is this, I'm not familiar with this ship, which
we did,
I guess
we
is now yours now.
We found some chests and crates that we all looked through, as well as searched the rooms. Some of our party found, that's where some of us found robes in various rooms.
Nice.
I think Stephanos, she may have made away with some really good wine at one point.
Oh, that sounds like you have this covered. Well, I should probably cotton up to something that I'm not sure. Are we trusting your friend here, Toph? Are we trusting? Is she a valued member? Is it safe to speak in front of her?
Yeah, I would say it's safe to speak in front of her.
All right.
I mean,
Well, look.
I may even be able to tell you guys stuff. I know a lot about the Cult of the Black Dragon. Well, what they were willing to tell me. I wasn't the highest level person ever. But I hate them, and I'll betray them at any turn possible.
Well, I'm down with that for sure. So.
The Jarden does this.
So, one of the ironies of and don't take this wrong, Toph, of the morons locking me in the room is I spent time in the room and got bored and searched the room. I actually found something that may be of interest to you. Spent a little bit of time with it, and it looks. I don't know much, but it looks a little bit like some sort of a gem, very similar to the gem that's on this mechanism, which is sort of what led me to share its news with you. Now I'm not an adventurer. I'm a liaison. I'm a harper, by association, not by membership. Happy to hand this over to one of you who might find it of use and wants to, would want to study it or whatever else. But the closer I stood to this mechanism, the odder this gem has felt in my pocket, and I'm happy to unload the weight of it to one of you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that gem might help with the navigation or with the wayfinder.
Well, it wasn't out in the open. We'll just say. I pulled out a drawer, and it was sort of stuffed behind the drawer. But that's not a particularly good hiding place. Now, my goal was to escape the room. I was looking for keys, and sadly, I found no keys. But I did find this. So Tyros, let me hand this to you. You can have it. Use it. Use it as you see fit. I only ask that if it brings goodness to you, remember me when we are next at a tavern.
Spanky, we're always going to remember you.
So he hands you this gem. I will, there's no way for me to hide what it is from you. Oh, I'm still on Spanky's voice. One second.
Yeah, I'm not Spanky. I'm the GM. I'm your inner voice, your inner monologue. There's no way in Foundry, Aaron, to hide what something is. So like typically there's identified, unidentified in D&D, right? Where you can give someone something and it'll say like mysterious item. I have not found anything that lets us do that. So when I give somebody a thing, all the details are there. So Tyros, my expectation is that over the journey that you study this thing, right? And then you will know all of the stuff that you can now just literally right now go take a look at.
Nice.
This is the wayfinding gem of teleportation.
Ooh.
Well, it is, and I guess you've decided to share that with everybody. That's fine. Yeah, in which case, if you're going to share that with everyone, I can drag it into the chat and.
Can you? Yeah, load it into the chat. This is interesting. I'd like others to understand this as well.
So I'm going to fast forward the time and just assume that you guys are sort of huddled either here or in one of those rooms below, sort of studying this thing, tinkering with this thing, and sort of learning what it does. So let me move this.
Zinjarn does want to go down to the lower levels and just study the cannons and like maybe get those, like see if I can figure out to make sure I know how to use the cannons, just in case.
Yeah. So do me a favor. Let's roll a history check for me, and I can do a roll for it if you want.
Is that me or not?
That's you. That's anyone who wanted to know how to do that sort of thing. First, we're gonna roll this.
Yeah, count me in on that one.
I rose. Actually, I'll do a team roll. That way, we go from there.
Ooh.
Roll away. So this is just seeing if any of you have any familiarity with cannons.
Oh, we gotta take a screenshot of this. This is Toph's first team check.
Hooray!
Couple of ones so far.
Oh, I got an 18, I think.
Sorry, I'm clicking it. Why is it 20? Why did it?
You got the ad. Nice.
Yeah. You have a bonus.
That's good.
Oh, I got to roll for Alexandria. Sorry.
Intelligence, I think, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what we got here?
She could have like a skill, like she could be proficient in history.
So, yeah, unsurprisingly, Toph, Toph, you absolutely, you've been on this ship, right? And one of your tasks is meant to sort of load, unload these cannons, so you do know how to use them. What was more surprising was to find out that Stefanos and Glory had a deep understanding. So like Glory, the party looks at you and goes like, why the hell are you so familiar with cannons, right? Like, crazy.
Yeah.
That's very highly specific knowledge.
Just a hobby that I picked up in the underworld.
Yeah, and Sarah, your love of knowledge and you're very book read, so you may have an academic knowledge of these things, but maybe you don't have any practical experience.
I paint them on little figurines.
So it's getting dark, you know, it's getting dark. You guys have studied some things. It looks like there's at least some hope that you'll be able to figure out how to leverage this gem. But right now, you're sort of like captives. As an evening approaches, and as it starts to get darker, it's 7 o'clock, and then it's 8 o'clock, and it's getting dark. What are your plans for the evening as you guys make your way through? You know, because as it starts to get darker and darker, you see the. Let's see if I can make this work properly.
I can stand watch.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. So I heard one person say I can stand watch, and then everybody else, I don't know if they're doing their compliance training or what.
Yeah, totally. I'll stand watch. Let's go hang out by a crossbow or a scorpion.
All right. I'll do the other one then.
I wanted to hang
Did you go to that one?
No, I need to zoom out so I can see.
I wanted to hang near Toast and ask her questions.
I'm gonna go up at the bow up here and just kind of watch forward, make sure no one's coming from ahead of us.
Awesome.
So me and Stephanos are hanging out.
Oh,
Sounds like a plan. Is anyone sleeping, or should I just advance the time and we'll start rolling your random encounters?
I take a little cat
Let's do
nap.
that.
Who's taking cat naps?
I'm gonna Glory. We'll take a cat nap.
All right, so Gloria, you'll head down to the cabins. We'll do this theater of the mind.
Oh no, I want to stay where I am.
Oh, you're gonna stay right. So everyone's staying up on the deck, and as the evening progresses, got it. All right, so I have one person taking a cat nap. That's Glory. Who else? Anyone?
No, I think Tyros might go back and investigate a little bit down below, knowing that Spanky had found this gem.
And Alexandria can sleep too.
Awesome.
But when Alexandria sleeps, would she look for like twigs and stuff to make a nest, or like does she lay down like everybody else? Like how does she sleep? We've never really asked her that.
Who, Alexandria? Yeah,
Yeah.
she actually, we've covered that before, right? Because she found a little blanket last time. And,
Oh, that's true. Good.
Yeah.
and my little interface just refreshed, so I've got to wait for it to load. Yeah, she like takes her little blanket and she sort of swirls around with her feet, and you sort of like see her wiggle and swirl it around and wiggle, and she makes, she does a little nesting, like legit nesting.
Also, GM, it seems like my night vision isn't working.
I was wondering if this reset the. So one of the things that happens every time we play, I have to go back in for every single map, and there's like 100 of them, and reconfigure the vision settings. So let me see here. Lighting, token vision, global illumination, save changes. How's that? Does that do it?
That works. Yeah, I have the right vision now.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't understand why in the world it resets every single time we play. It's frustrating. It's a lot of work to remember to like. I have this laundry list of pre-flight things I've got to do. Yeah, it does look significantly different now.
I don't have permission to tell everyone that I am gonna go to the bathroom. So
Oh,
I'm gonna go to the
that also
bathroom.
that also resets. So let me fix that for you guys too. Configure ownership, and you all should have limited and save changes. Now you can all use your macros, I hope. So if someone would be kind enough to try one, don't go crazy. We just try one to make sure it works, and then we'll call that a day.
Nope, didn't
Nope.
work.
It didn't work?
Nope.
No.
Okay, hold on. Oh,
Got
hold on.
no permission.
Shit.
Thomas just doesn't want us to go on breaks this time. He's like, nope, none of you could go to the bathroom.
There it is.
Okay.
Public. Configure ownership. Should be save. Now try. There they come. All right. If only we did play when we could have cocktails. It makes my GMing so much better. All right. Any let me see if I can change the terrain now. Of course not. None of my I'm unable to change the clouds. I'm unable to change the map. It's supposed to be changing in the mountains right now, and none of that is suddenly working. Super awesome.
Theater of the mind.
Yes, we're gonna have to go into the theater of the mind, indeed. It's just very frustrating. So
That sucks for Dinjarin because he doesn't have much of a mind.
that's true. All right. So as the night progresses, how long are you guys gonna hang at the top of the?
Well, I was going to go down and search below.
I'm
Do
gonna stay
some
up
more sleuthing.
Yeah, I'm standing guard.
Yeah, I'll go
Ready.
down with Tyros and check out the other places.
Well, as you know, as you guys make your way into the evening, and as night progresses, you see that the desert turns to mountains outside of you. And who's going downstairs, so I can make this happen?
Myself and Dinjarin.
All right. Oh, it's also not working. All right, give me one more second. Manual stuff, I swear. I hear the music working though. Some of this coming through someone's thing, so gives you something to listen to. All right, cancel.
Very,
All right,
very
so-
Middle Eastern.
Very deserty.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going downstairs. Dinjarin, let me drag you in. And Tyros, right?
Yep.
Dinjarin. Boom, you're down. And Tyros, you're down. And let me pull the two of you to the scene. Pull to scene. And pull to scene. Now you guys should be seeing that scene, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So as you guys get into the next day, and the time progresses, around 3 a.m., no one's sleeping, you guys have said, so we're going to roll for those on the upper decks, and then I'll come back to the lower decks here in just a second. I gotta pull you guys off of this one. So there goes. Tyros is gone. And where's Dinjarin? Dinjarin's gone. All right. Let's see if anything happens in the sky.
So, I'm feeling a little chaos right now. I'm thinking I want to pull a card from Dinjarin's deck. I get bored. And I'm so used to just stuff happening. I'm gonna pull a card out of... Yeah, I want to see what happens.
Well, Dinjarin's downstairs. You gonna go downstairs and talk to him?
No, it's too far away. Lazy.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you can't pull a card from him on a different level. On the plus side, nothing happened. How are you guys going to spend the next 8 hours?
Oh, I am sure as hell gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go downstairs and go pull a card from Dinjarin's deck.
All right, so let me take you downstairs, and then I'll advance it 8 hours and see if you guys encounter anything.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna
I
at least
wanna-
negotiate. You're gonna negotiate with him.
Oh, well, I'll just, be like, hey, how's that deck of cards? You want to see? I want.
I just go like this on my hand, and I start doing this. I was like, it's probably about as good as my finger that I lost.
I mean, I don't have to draw a card. I was just. Whatever. Oh, nice. Thank you.
So
I was actually, the only thing was, Thomas, I would let you, but I think we had to go, I remember talking to you, we have to go back to figure out the cards that I drew because something happened where you said all the cards are there again, and we just have to make sure that the ones I already drew are removed.
Yeah. Do you remember which one it is? Which ones you removed?
I was trying to go through and remember the ones. I was trying to read their description to figure out. I figured out 3, but I can't find the other.
Well, what we can do is if she wants to pull one, the rule will be if it's already been pulled, we'll eliminate that one, and she'll have to roll again. But the way the deck works, to remind everyone, you declare how many you're going to pull, and you must pull them, and you must pull all of them that you've committed to within an hour, or the entire deck explodes its cards out, and all of them happen at once.
But so wait, I guess does that work if she says she's gonna pull one, even though it's my deck, or is it I have to be the one who says
we have to look
if I say it?
Yeah, like if you look at your deck of many things, I believe there's a clause that says that you can offer to other people. Let me see. Where are you? Here you are. Jaren, inventory. Deck of many things. What's that at? Why am I not seeing your deck? What section's it in?
Equipment.
Oh, there it is. Deck of many things. Yeah, so let's draw a card. There's all the cards.
Oh no, so it's not all of them. So if you say 5 and you only draw 1 within the hour, the remaining 4 all fly out and take effect. Not all of the cards.
Oh, really? I thought it was the entire deck.
No, it's just however many you say.
Damn it.
And it doesn't say anything about. Oh wait, once a card is drawn, it pays from existence unless the card is full action. So okay, yeah, it doesn't say anything about if I let someone else use it.
Yeah, so I think so. Like my opinion is, if you own this, if you want to let her draw a card, you're welcome to let her draw a card.
Right.
Oh, well, this whole time you've been offering it up like it was.
I held it out, but as for some reason, unlike before, I tell you, if you absolutely want to, I will let you. But in good conscience, I must warn you: there's more evil that could come of this than good.
I'm chaotic. Wait, am I chaotic neutral?
Well, you should know that. Let me look.
Or no, I'm trying to remember. I think I'm chaotic neutral.
You are chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
You're just a very curious person.
Yeah. I am very curious though.
As an example, you could be banished to several different hells that we would not know how to come and find you.
Called
Oh
home.
my god.
It's called home, my friend. I just be going home.
I have a cousin in Avernus, so but other than that,
Yeah, I want to draw a card.
All right.
Okay.
And is she giving you anything for this draw, or are you just letting her go for it?
I'm just letting her. I say, consider this penance for all the things I've done to you in the past.
All right, Glory. So you guys are upstairs. Don't know any of this is going on. Tyros, this does not make you feel good. You're not a huge trusting soul. Dinjarin, your evil self would have been thrilled this your not evil self is probably
I'm very hesitant to do this, but
hesitant. But so
I do feel compelled because I did say in the past that I would let her because of like, so my morals are like, since I offered, I feel obligated to let you.
So in your macro bar,
bar,
Glory, don't click until I tell you, but look, you'll see that it looks like a little deck of cards. It's the roll table deck of many things. And when I tell you, you can roll. So you see Glory, like, Dinjarin's holding out this deck of cards, and his hands are a little shaky. He looks a little uneasy. Some of the cards have already been removed, and it seems like he was a braver soul when he pulled his cards out. He's a bit of a different person now, actually, thanks to the cards. And you guys see the three of you, Glory's hands just sort of making its way to the deck. All right, Glory.
Really
Roll.
quickly, I do have an aura of protection on me, so
Yeah.
matter.
Good luck
doesn't matter.
with that. No.
Okay.
And you've committed to one card, right?
Yes, just one.
So and you've stated
I'm
this
really
out loud.
Curious, like.
So state for the record, like that. I'm going to I'm going
I'm
to
just
draw
gonna
one card.
Draw one card out of your deck.
All right. Roll.
So
May the gods
you
favor you.
said roll, but I don't know. Like you said,
I
this
mean,
is
So in the macro bar,
You just
you
click
should
it.
see
Yeah.
something and click it.
Okay, which one's my macro bar again? I'm sorry.
Bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
where you roll for like I have to go to the bathroom and all that stuff.
Yeah, nothing is here.
Well, then you need to click that little folder and drag your macros to
Oh,
your
wait,
bar.
wait. Here it is. Got it. I just had to go up one.
All right. Skull.
Skull.
Have you drawn this one, Dinjarin? Just make sure.
Yeah, I believe this was the one that was drawn.
Okay, so that means this one's not available anymore, so please draw a different card. Make a note of which ones have been drawn. All right, Talons. I don't believe.
Nope, that one was not drawn.
All right, so
Every
here's what
magic
happens.
item.
Every magic item you wear or carry disintegrates. Artifacts in your possessions aren't destroyed, but do
Oh my
vanish.
god.
Every magic. So say goodbye to all your Baphomet's gear.
All the
Jesus Christ.
God. Okay, I'll mark that as done though.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. So let me read. Every magic item you wear or carry disintegrates. Artifacts in your possession aren't
I
destroyed,
punched in Jarn.
but do vanish.
I
right.
warned you. I tried to warn you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of your thing real quick, so I don't lose track of what used to be here.
I take the deck and I put it back in my pack. Like, perhaps we should throw this overboard so no one can ever.
Ooh, me next.
I just hope you don't encounter any dragons.
What was that?
I hope we don't encounter any dragons, because those are all our dragon fighting weapons, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's so true.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, I am a dragon fighting weapon. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, thank God.
I was voting that you would have gotten the 50,000 experience points, and you would have been level 7. I was really.
Well, I'm going through an
alright.
identity crisis right now, so it's all
Alright.
part of it.
All right. So you feel this like your soul being yanked at as your staff of healing is gone.
Yep.
Let's see, is this magic? No. Yep. You see your bone staff, your old faithful bone staff that you've had for 3 years, is gone. Your larva mage staff is gone. Baphomet's Dragon Slayer, something that you guys worked so hard to protect in the aquatic crypt, to the point where you guys schemed and now have a dragon chasing you so that you would not lose this sword, is gone. Amulet of Protection, gone. Your bag of holding is gone. Anything that you had put in it is also gone. Spider climbing, gone. Your gem of brightness, you feel dissipate. And like you guys see her.
Quandoed my whole shit. Yeah.
Boots of Striding is gone. Hobgoblin Devastator Spellbook is gone. And you guys see each of these items just sort of like fly from Glory and poof into nothing. Your mage spellbook is gone. You see, sort of like make its way from under her cloak. You see this orb, Baphomet's orb of dragon kind, gone. And as that leaves your attunement, your brain, it feels like someone has stabbed you in the head with an ice pick. Your potions are all there. However, your scrolls of protection from poison is gone. You had 2 of those. Your comprehend language scroll is gone. Your spider climb scroll is gone. You have a parchment, a piece of paper that you get to keep. Your rations are there. Your arrows are there. Your crossbows, nothing happens. You have a mysterious liquid is gone. Your arrows of slaying, sadly, are magical. They're gone. Potions are fine. This one's gonna hurt, not you, but people on your team. Your Baphomet's arrow of dragon slaying. You feel it go poof, and it's gone. That's fine. That's fine. Your movable rod, that thing that you argued with people to get one of, and you haven't even used it yet. But bam, it's also gone. The good news is you've got tinker tools and a forgery kit. That'll come in handy. Pouch, component pouch, vial, backpack. All that stuff is fine. Oh, that's you have a staff that does not. It is not magical. It has not been imbued, so you get to keep your staff. But your record containing a secret relic, something you've carried with you your entire life, is now gone. You have a book, an ink pen, nothing happens. Your common clothes, nothing. Your spell book, on the other hand, ceases to exist right in front of your face. Your emblem, this thing that you have used to imbue your magic wielding, disappears from your inventory. Small knife stays. You have a crystal. Is it magical? Yes, it's for your arcane focus. That is now gone. Your mistletoe.
Did you have any non-magical items?
She had a lot of stuff, you
magical
guys.
being.
Yeah, she has your sprig of mistletoe is used for spellcasting, but is not itself magical, so you get to keep it. Your Moonsea Cults by Thalius of Tyr, a book, you get to keep. You have an eye, and what do you do with a random eye? Who knows? The good news is it doesn't disappear. I'm sorry to tell you that your unused inspiration card is magical, so it is gone. Catnap. You get to keep Egan's journal, which isn't really useful anymore, and you do get to keep your letter from a dead colleague. But you also had a second inspiration card called Deep Thought. Where'd it go? Deep Thought. And from someone, you were probably keeping it because this inspiration card was right up your alley. It allowed you to know one thing, anything, immediately. But it's now gone.
You should have used that before you pulled the deck just to see.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
Should do.
Oh well.
Yep. Retrospect, right? So let me make sure that you've got nothing else.
Well, it says vanish but not destroyed, so it may come into our lives again at some point.
Exactly.
Didn't someone have like a reverse time thing?
Someone
had
if
that.
you pull another card, you could get the Moon card, which will grant the ability to cast a wish 1d3 times. So you could essentially get that and wish all your items back. However,
well, so like, okay, let's look at our situation right now. I have nothing, right? So
no, that's not true.
you have no magical.
What if
You have nothing magical, and you still have every magical item you wear or carry disagrees. Yeah, so you still also can cast Unseen Servant, Burning Hands, Stinking Cloud, all of the Eldritch Blast. You have all of that. What you've lost are the things that you've acquired over the last 3 years that were magical. The things that you were, say, hoarding, the things that weren't, that like when Ariel was playing, that still didn't steal from you. You've lost all of that.
By the way, GM, I was reading through the ones, I found all the ones that have been pulled already. And one of them, just as a reminder, is Rogue. So one character of your choice, somewhere in the world, an NPC, hates me and wants to basically kill me. So just reminding you that.
No, I remember that.
Anyone, anywhere.
Yeah. Oh no, I have that's in my notes. But so Dinjarin and Tyros, you see this happening to Glory, downstairs. No one upstairs knows this yet. So this is all knowledge that you all don't know. How do you want me to end this scene before we go back? I go back upstairs to the other group.
One quick question. So that made everything below an artifact disintegrate. Was any of the things she had classified as an artifact? Because that would not have disintegrated.
Yeah, she did have. So the artifacts just so these things they left her inventory, right? Some of them disintegrated. Some of them you heard me say like they popped away, like they popped out of existence for her.
Do we know where they are? Because they say they aren't destroyed; they just vanish.
No. So that's the word vanish, right? Like there's someplace. There's someplace.
They just disappeared. Good thing she didn't have the arcane wayfinder on her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or the gem of teleportation that you just found, or any of the other things.
The only thing I do is I pull out my vicious dagger and offer it to her, like, hey, you might need this now.
Actually, we should start a collection.
Well, Toph, you don't officially know any of this, right? Like, so unless they, so that's my question to you guys is like Tyros, like the way you typically roll, like this was a very stupid thing that you would have never done. It's not within your sort of character, right? To take that kind of uncalculated risk. So, in your heart of hearts, you've just learned a thing about Glory is that she's a bit reckless, right? Even at the expense of potentially the party. Glory, I think
I'm
you
not
learned.
reckless. I will do anything for the pursuit of knowledge. So if something is, I will not run from a monster. I will stop and take notes. So if there's a monster and I'm curious, I will learn more about it. It's not vicious, which is different because I'm not considering my actions towards like others because I'm very self-involved.
Yeah. So like I said. So yeah, yourself. Like, so my point is, what was the word I just used? Because I've just forgotten.
Reckless.
Reckless. Yeah. So I didn't say that. Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. But from where your colleagues are standing, the fact that you would rather selfishly understand a thing while they're all getting their asses handed to them by a monster, while you would rather be curious about pulling a card from a deck, knowing that like one of the many other cards could have just destroyed the entire party. Right, like you zap into.
I think all of that is information you're placing in people's heads. I think that they would not have come to that conclusion on their own. I think that you have summarized it up into a nice package and presented it to them. So I disagree with what you're saying.
you can disagree all you want, but part of my role is to help them with that context, right? Okay. Given their characters, right? I'm part of their inner dialogue.
And I think when Din Djarin got the deck of many things, we knew what the consequences could be. There were some many negative consequences, and when Din Djarin drew from it, all of us stood agape, like,
"What are you doing?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I happened to do it right in the middle of battle. Although I will point out in this instance, she is not the only one technically to blame because I did say here, okay, I warned her of the consequences, but I did say, because I offered in the past, I shall hold up to my word.
Yeah, so Din
Djarin just gives a stink eye to Glory and to Din Djarin as well, as he turns around and starts to look around and do some investigating.
And Din Djarin, you've now like met your moral obligation. That promise that the evil Din Djarin made has now been seen through as far as you're concerned, right? And sort of do with that what you will. Meanwhile, though, upstairs, let me go back upstairs to the other people. Boom. And let me pull the camera back here. Oops, almost dropped a potion of healing. So upstairs, you guys don't know anything's going on downstairs. You hear some mumbling and some gasps and like, what the hell? But other than that, like, you're blissfully unaware of what's happened downstairs. It's about 3 a.m. I'm gonna forward the time, the next 8 hours. Do you up here plan on doing anything different, or are you guys just sort of hanging tight? Is anyone sleeping or just not?
Well, it's talk to Toph
I can
about
say,
what she knows.
All right, have that conversation with Toph. And before you do though, Tempe, what were you saying?
just hanging tight, staying vigilant.
Awesome. Yeah, same with Spanky. Actually, Spanky's he's just gonna lean up in this corner here and just sort of like let the magical melody of that engine sort of do its thing for him. I don't know why he's not. So weird. Anyway, I suddenly can't do anything on the screen.
Well, I'm gonna tell Stephanos all about my favorite foods and how long it's been since I got to try any of them, because all of the cult members are really uptight about like living an austere life for the glory of the dragons. It's just a nightmare.
I would love to know what your favorite foods are. Maybe I'll make them one day, but really curious to know, Toph. What's the agenda from these cultists? What is their goal?
I will have to have Thomas tell me what I know.
Well, in your backstory, it does hint to it.
Okay, hold on.
So take a quick look at that, but I'll give a little summary while you're looking, reminding yourself. She was sort of the middle manager, level of the Black Cult of the Dragon. They trusted her to do things, but it wasn't necessarily. She wasn't necessarily part of the sort of senior leadership, right? Guiding the cult. As a matter of fact, it was one of the things that frustrated her was the parts that she did hear about where she didn't want to be involved, right? They seemed like they went from being an interesting group that could maybe further her cause to like up to no good, and she didn't really want to be part of that, right? So you'll know things of like, in some of the cities, where might the Black Cult gather? You'll know what the robe colors necessarily mean, right? Some are purple, some are red, right? Some insignias. You'll be able to readily identify when you guys see a cultist. You'll know a little bit about their weaknesses and their strengths, right?
I think the purples are the followers of the Scaly Way, right? I love that. That's the funniest title.
But yeah, so if you've had a chance, feel free to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, so basically my fate took a dark turn when I encountered the Black Cult of the Dragon. I thought I was going to get a lot out of it, but the reality is they're just total dicks and really like super violent. I mean, I'm one thing about, beating your enemies, cracking heads, that's great, but they hurt a lot of innocents. So I've been looking for a way out basically since like week 2, but they don't let you leave. There's no like I quit. And I had family involved in the cult as well. It's just the whole thing. I would say that I don't see anything specifically about like their plot, except I can tell you you're right to be opposed to them. That's actually my favorite thing about you guys. The color of your eyes and the fact that you also hate the Cult of the Black Dragon.
Ooh. Really curious to know. Thank you for sharing that. We're wearing some of the robes. I'm wearing a robe that I guess is worn by magical users in the cult. I gave one to Glory. Should have one similar when I found them down we did this last week. I found it and I handed it to Glory. I'm really curious to know, if we're ever having to pretend like we're cultists, are there any secret hand signals to give or passwords that we can identify as cult members?
Yes. So the number one thing is there's like a really strong sense of hierarchy. So you need to have some awareness of if you're talking to somebody who's higher level than you or lower level than you. So that would be the first thing. And then Thomas, is there anything else I would know?
I mean, not. It wouldn't be natural for you to just sort of like rattle off everything you know, right? So as you earn their trust, you can share, deeper things, and we can discuss those if you want offline. On some more of the details. For instance, you could share that you were assigned this duty. You weren't exactly sure what was happening. You knew that you were going to intercept somebody, right? It turns out to be Spanky. I'm sorry, you were on the air tank. You were not part of that. You were part of the party that was trying to figure out what the hell had happened because you knew that they were abducting one of the Harpers or a liaison for the Harper, and you were trying to find out sort of what they were up to. Right, that was what your posse here was supposed to accomplish. You did know that there was Brother Samuel. He's a high-ranking official, and that he was one of the reasons you're leaving is sort of the direction he was taking the cult.
Yeah. I think I'll share that.
Yeah. And I will say, out of character, as I've been thinking about, everything that just sort of happened a second ago. Aaron, you played a lot of D&D, so I also value, or anyone's opinion. So for instance, Sarah was thinking I couldn't tell Tyros what was in his head. If you have experience and that's a thing that you're yeah, we don't really do that, or feel free to weigh in. All of you guys, I want your opinions. Traditionally, that's sort of how it's been. Is for me, the GM has been able to say, here's sort of what your inner voice is thinking, because you can't really control that in real life any more than what you're hearing. What you guys do with that information is up to you. But feel free to weigh in, because I'm not trying to be unfair to anyone. I'll just leave it
Stop
at that.
giving me bad numbers on my rolls, and then maybe I'll start believing you.
I hope you are. I hope you are still tracking those, by the way.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you should. You should to see how many you roll. I think you'll find it's distributed fairly evenly.
No, I don't actually think that you are sabotaging my rolls.
Oh, I could probably. I'm sure there's a plugin for it, but I do not own it. Right. Yeah, it's
I'm
a module.
clearly capable of sabotaging myself.
It's probably some module that in Foundry that if you want one of the characters of the party to quit the game because they're annoying, that you could just make their life hell.
Are you trying to say something?
But I do not have that.
Are you trying to
I would
subtly tell me something?
No, I'll use your in-game. If Glory were to leave the game, these weird turn of events would never happen. Right? These guys are the slow and steady, win the race, and kill everybody. Tempe be killing everybody. Dinjarin would be on the journey of self-discovery now that he's no longer evil. Tyros is the stoic, wise man, leader. You're the wild card. So is Alexandria. Alexandria is sort of the, Gen Z social justice warrior. You're the wild card. Right? So
I felt like I wasn't being wild card enough, so I've made a commitment since the last time I played to be more chaotic neutral.
Well, I was gonna say,
more chaos part of it.
to be fair though, Dinjarin just stopped being a wild card too, just literally 3 or 4 episodes ago. So
yeah.
Well, and just to answer your question, I will say that it's very common for a DM to even second guess the action of a player if it's completely out of character for their character and be like, ooh, are you sure? And just ask them to rethink. And then the second thing is if you as a player don't know something and they feel that your character would, they'd be like, oh wait, your character would know that by throwing your spell book away, you can't cast spells or whatever. So you probably wouldn't do that. And then give you the opportunity to change your mind. I think that's well within in the word, in the things.
What if your spellbook vanishes?
That I honestly, I think you would have drawn that card based off of the person I met riding a spider, which very impressive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She was drunk for that moment, but she's sober now.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Boredom is scarier than alcohol. I understand.
Well, and the funny thing is, there are some cards that would have given a lot of knowledge to her if she.
I know. I whispered to you whether or not I could draw another one because I was like, I've lost everything. So when you hit rock bottom, what do? You usually dig deeper. So
at this point, Dinjarin's conscience would kick in and say, I cannot in good conscience let you draw another card. I apologize, but as I mentioned before, there are more horrible outcomes that could happen than positive ones at this point. So I cannot, in good conscience, let you draw. We need you as a part of this team too much to do that. We could always buy more stuff for you, a new spell book and things that Daggerford.
Okay, I'm gonna go wander off to go drink some wine.
There, you do remember finding casks of wine. So let me, one more roll before you guys arrive potentially. Nothing to report. So you've got that going for you. So yeah, so you guys see that the mountains have now turned into forests. The sun has come up. You'll see the occasional, little homestead. You see rivers. You're hearing the birds tweet. It's now morning. I'm sorry, it's past morning. It's about 4 p.m. Let me do one more. So as you guys are flying, you see 5 dust devils, off in the distance, sort of spinning around, just off into the distance. What are your thoughts?
I'm below deck, so I don't see these.
Yeah, it's you upstairs. Are you doing anything?
Knowledge nature?
Yeah, I see no reason to fly toward them. It's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, and plus you're not really able to steer. So
Right.
you see them just off to sort of the northwest, of the airship, and let's see if they approach. They're just off in a distance right now. And did someone say, do I know anything about them? Was that you, Toph?
Yes.
All right, let's find out. So who's above deck? That would be
Right.
Tempe, Toph, Alexandria, Stephanos. Let's do a nature check. Doo-doo. There we go. I'll roll for Alexandria.
All right, Stephanos.
So Stephanos, you got it. So what you know is these things typically scour the land within 6 miles of a blue dragon lair, right? So that's just something you make mental note of, right? They're not specifically, yeah, you can have that. You're not specifically looking at you, but you see this sort of off in the distance, sort of creating these whirlwinds, and anything that comes within range of them, birds or otherwise, right, gets flung away. As of right now, they've not noticed you, and what you know is that they're probably not looking for you. However, you do know that if you guys were to take them on, they're pretty formidable, right? Would you get a 22? Yeah. So like hit point for hit point, they're probably either at or above you guys. So your best plan of attack would be to not draw their attention. Yeah, so Stephanos, like if you were to take these 5 dust devils on, you guys would likely not survive it.
Okay.
So we should fire our crossbows at them?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what I got.
So let me see if they notice you. So give me 1 second. This is on mine. This is a blind roll. Oh, so close. No, so you guys, they're sort of to the northeast of you now. You're passing them up, and they've not noticed you unless you want to draw their attention.
Do you guys want to find out if there's a dragon nearby?
Oh, I can sense dragons nearby.
Yes, so can I.
Well, what's the range on that?
6 miles.
I'm looking
If
at
I
them.
am in a favorable terrain, which I would say we are, since we're floating in the sky.
Yeah, so between that nature check, so you know that somewhere within 6 miles is a blue dragon's lair, specifically, based on that nature check. Because that's where sort of the dust devils sort of hang.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good to know. Hopefully,
So
he
the
doesn't
question
know
is-
that one dragon.
Yeah. So the question is, would you guys like to take on 5 dust devils and a dragon?
Nah.
Pass.
All right.
I want stones and beer.
You want what now?
Scones and ale.
Oh, there you go. So, as the day progresses and the evening begins to fall and sort of the sun sets, you find that your time on this airship, at least for the moment, is coming to an end. Because you arrive at the port city of Daggerford. And I'll do a little intro, and then we'll be done. Now, all of you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For once, I had things set up properly. That's good on me. Yay me. And sort of much to Spanky's, delight. It has hovered just out of range of the pickled wyvern. So, Tyros, you and the party, are up in the ship. It's sort of just stopped moving. You're not sure exactly how to use that gem. You've spent some time studying it. So, what have you learned? Anything? So now you have access to the knowledge that's in your inventory.
I have a quick question.
Fire away.
Since we're landing, do we know, can we see if anybody's, waiting for us? Or, is there the black cult, waiting for our return or anything like that?
Yeah, you can look down. Let's do, let me see.
The reason why is because if they are waiting for us, if we want to keep up this disguise of, we're part of the black cult, you guys can use me as, a trophy or the captured so that we can get in and be like, oh, we were told to bring this person, whatever. If we need to use me, I mean, now's the time to use me. I have nothing, so it's not like they can get anything from me.
Right.
So
What
I'm
sort of
willing
trophy
to
is this?
sacrifice myself to know more or get to where we need to do.
That was
We
probably
already
smarter
did
than
that.
what Dinjarn was going to do. I was
Anyways,
just going to
I'm
jump off.
offering it to the team, so can I look and see if there's anybody that this might be our plan to kind of get everyone on board?
By the way, Dinjarn was just going to jump off the edge of the boat to go down to the street.
He's way up in. I mean, he's way up in the air. No one's asked me about that yet, but
I have the ring of Featherfall, so I would be okay.
Oh,
That is the only reason why I would have done it. I'm see ya.
okay.
all right. So let me.
That's a smarter idea, Glory. So I stop when I hear you talk about
See,
this.
my
idea.
magic isn't the only thing of value that I bring of value. I have my brain too, you guys. God. You guys get all worried because I lose all of the shit that we've been collecting for 3 years, but you forget who I am as a demon/human. I have
Alright,
a
so-
heart too.
Sure.
Be black.
So let me pull you. Let me pull you up. So let's activate the scene.
So how high are we hovering above?
So that's what
ground.
That's what I was gonna tell you. So it's you're at about anywhere between 600 and 800 feet. You can't really tell. Too long for a rope. And you guys are seeing what you guys are seeing your ship sort of hovering above a campground, correct?
Yep.
So let me give you some narrative.
Wait, did I need to roll?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Yes, not yet. So what you see below you, right? Let me send this to the chat. So this may be a little weird because normally people arrive via boat, but we'll see if my narrative was generic enough for you. Oops, there it is. Let me share this picture, and then we'll sort of end here. So here's a little bit of picture of Daggerford. And some narrative for you to the chat. Right, so upon reaching Daggerford, you find yourself in this, you see this bustling town below you. It's this crucial hub of information and resources. You're able to gather supplies and forge alliances when you come through Daggerford. You have this quest that you're trying to uncover these mysterious events. It's really just sort of begun, even though you're 3 years in. Really, this chapter of your lives is just beginning. You know that there's a whole lot of Moonsea to see. So Daggerford is a small, bustling town located along the banks of the river Dimbil. You guys are going to see that I don't pronounce things well, even when I've written Delimbil. Because, by the way, these are real places in the lore, so I wanted to use actual places, so there's already canon. But anyways, it's part of this Sword Coast region of Faerun. The town is named for an ancient ford, crossing, the river, where the legend has it that a young boy slew a fearsome lizard with only a dagger, saving the town from certain doom. So you guys find yourself way up above a bar, right? And what you're hoping, because it's getting late, is that maybe you'll get a good night's sleep, right? Spanky wants to do some introducing. But in this bustling city of Daggerford, along the banks of the river, stands a popular, lively establishment, Pickled Wyvern Tavern. Its vibrant atmosphere and constant influx of travelers, the tavern is a hive of activity and a treasure trove of information. Let's give you a little picture of this show. 2 users. There you go. Did you guys see that?
Yep.
Boom. There you go.
I got the plates.
Yeah. So, just to the north of the tavern, right below your airship, is a well-maintained campsite. It provides affordable accommodations for those who prefer to sleep under the stars. The campsite is equipped with fire pits, fresh water, and a stable for horses and other mounts, making it an attractive option for travelers passing through Daggerford. Kind of cool. We won't go there yet. I mentioned this as a crossword for travelers. It's going to be a great place to meet a liaison, maybe Mr. Jazz Hands. The tavern owner, a jovial, knowledgeable halfling named Thistle, is always eager to share stories and provide guidance to those in need of direction. So you guys find yourself, up there. Tyros, you probably have figured a few things out with that stone. Do you know what you know, or do I need to tell you what you know?
The gem of teleportation, or the stone that's in the ship?
A little of both, right? Because in your studies and trying to understand the gem, you've realized that there's an interplay between those two things.
Mm-hmm. I have not studied the stone that's in the ship very much. I have read up on the gem of teleportation.
Yes. So what you know is that you can sort of identify a spot 10 foot by 10 foot, and using the stone, the combination of the stone and the gem on the ship, you can transport your party to that location, right? And so long as you're holding that stone, you can always teleport back to the ship. The other thing that you know is that you can actually use this stone within a certain range, which you can look into details, to call the ship to you. What you haven't figured out is how to set a destination. On the main to that end, you have not really studied the larger gem, right? But you do know that you could take the party down to the street right now if you wanted to.
Yes, the other thing I do know is that we lose hit points using this stone.
Dinjarin runs and jumps
because the
off
stone needs to be energized at all times.
So Dinjarin, as you're talking, you see Dinjarin leap off the ship, and all of you lose your aura of protection. So Dinjarin, you have Featherfall, correct?
Yes, I have a ring of feather falling.
Yep. So you are safely on the ground, and you guys see Dinjarin down there. So Tyros, he's given you a good rough 10-foot target if you want to aim for it. Otherwise,
Yep.
Alexandria is just going to hop off, and she's going to meet Dinjarin because she can fly, right? That leaves the rest of you lot.
I have a ring of feather falling.
Jesus, does everyone have a Ring of Featherfall? Who doesn't have a Ring of Featherfall?
This one's sale.
I don't. I do not.
I
have.
don't.
I
Well,
don't know if I did.
I'm saying,
but I
like,
don't
you-
right now.
We know Glory doesn't.
Yeah, and Glory, when what have you shared what you've done with the rest of the party? And you don't have to, absolutely. But that's just a binary. Like, I know that Tyros and Dinjara know. Are you going to cotton up
Hasn't
to what
really
you did
come
to the
up
rest of
in
the party?
conversation. Hasn't really come up.
Yeah,
in
well, it doesn't.
conversation.
Like the way I'm going to go at this, until you tell everyone upstairs, or that the rest of the party, they don't know, and we're not going to use that. Not like they aren't going to be able to use that knowledge, right? So unless you around drinks, pull a hey, guess what dumbass thing I just did, or something like that, right? No worries.
Jaren can always tell everyone.
All the party knows is there is a little bit of tension between the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Dinjarin and Tyros, it's up to you. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do either, right?
Yeah.
But no one else will know. They do notice, and I know this bothers you when I do this, Glory, but I'm too bad. They do notice that there's like the relation, like it's a little awkward, but they don't know why. And honestly, things have been so weird, they don't really care. Now Spanky does ping Tyros, and he's like, "Hey man, I can even go into voice for you."
Tyros, it seems to me that you could get us off this ship. Any concerns that the ship will take off once we depart?
From what I've studied and know of this gem, I don't believe so. And if it does take off, I can summon the ship back. I still need to study a little bit more, but that's what I do know right now.
Well, that is great news indeed. And as far as I'm concerned, if you would be kind enough to my suggestion, take us down so I can fulfill my obligation and connect you with Mr. Jazz Hands, who I'm assuming and hoping is still at this pickled wyvern, I would be in your debt.
Yeah,
But I don't want to speak for the other party members.
No, I think it would be beneficial for all of us to get off of this warship for the time being and sort of regroup a little.
So what say the rest of you? I mean, I'm not going to.
I have a.
Please get me off this ship.
I have a 50-foot stealth rope I could tie to this ship and then use my feathering to go down, and you guys climb down most of it. There's like a 10-foot drop, which I think you guys can manage.
We're like 600
feet. We're 600 feet
You're
up.
600 feet in the air, yeah. Like, it would be hilarious to see you guys crawling down that rope, though, and getting to the end and going like, oh, I'm still 550 feet in the air. Stephanos, did you want to use your Ring of Featherfall?
Or something?
Yeah, Stephanos, did you want to use your Ring of Featherfall?
I do, and I'm wondering if I can tie people with the rope to my body and featherfall.
I think you could. I don't know what the weight is, but Tyros has already told you guys that he can easily just teleport everyone to the ground.
Oh
yeah. I ain't doing that.
You also have to have attuned to the ring in order to use it.
Oh, have you attuned to it?
I do.
Stephanos, you are not attuned to it. Was that an oversight, or did you spend a long rest attuning?
Wait, actually no, sorry. I should have attuned to the blood vial.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, so you guys see Stephanos sort of running towards the edge, and right before she jumps, she looks at her hand and goes like, "Oh, whoa," and does not leap over the end, which is good because her Ring of Featherfall would have found her plummeting 600 feet to the ground. So I'll even give you like a Dinjarin's like, Stephanos, you have not attuned. Near miss.
Do we grab the wayfinding stuff, like the gem and everything that's connected before we leave, or should we leave it in there?
Like, do we leave the airship running, basically?
The gem that's in there, the two, from what I understand, are connected to each other, so we wouldn't be able to teleport back to the ship without that gem in its place on the ship. Am I correct in that assumption, DM?
Yes. Yeah, that is something. Well, you don't know for sure, but that is, from what you've read and studied, that is what it seems to be.
Yeah. So we need to keep that gem in there. I would assume I would like to try that with the gem in there.
Yep.
Don't forget to set the ship alarm when you guys leave.
Blip,
We don't want anyone-
All right, so I'll pull you guys down to the ground.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to understand, do all of us take damage or just the person holding the gem?
The entire party. And it's just 4 points. Or no, it's 1d4.
1d4.
Yes, and so each of you, Stefanos, Tempe, Toph, Tyros, Glory, and Spanky, will roll a 1d4. Do you guys know how to do that? You should. It's in the chat window. It's the little pyramid dice. Just click it once and then hit roll. Then we'll tell me what you rolled. So, poor Spanky loses 4. He goes down to 3. All right. So Spanky's lost a little bit of health. Glory is going to lose 3 points. And can you tell them a little bit about?
You have to roll for Toph, by the way. She's
Oh.
not. She dropped off.
Oh, she dropped. I missed that. Yeah, we'll end here. Stefanos only loses 2. Can you so Tyros, as their sort of their things, their lifeblood, sort of leave them a little bit. Can you tell them that not all is lost?
Yeah, not all is lost. We will restore some of our hit points. It's just the gem needs power, and it takes it from our energy in order to transport us. But we will gain this power back. We'll gain our hit points back. Not that we know what hit points are.
And Toph loses 1. Yeah, so it's just you know, you guys are just like a little worse for the wear. Not horrible. Matter of fact, Spanky lost a disproportionate amount of his health to fuel the trip down. And then as you do that, the ship doesn't disappear, Tyros, but you see that it as you've teleported away, it's risen way into the sky, so up to the point where most people couldn't see it.
Okay.
So it leads you to believe that when you call it, it'll come back to about 600 feet, and you'll be able to get on board.
Yeah. So it's about, if my calculations are correct, about 5,000 feet up now, almost, because the teleportation has a range of a mile.
Yep. So there you go. So you guys find yourself on the ground outside of the Pickle campsite. It's about 7 p.m. Some of you are a little worse for the wear, not a big deal. Spanky is excited to get you into the tavern, talking to Jazz Hands. You've made it to Daggerford. Tempe, you think to yourself, the ground feels amazing, beneath my feet. And you're actually double delighted that you're surrounded by trees and woods and birds, right? Having spent the larger part of the time in a cave before this.
Yeah. Quick burpee to kiss the ground. Does Spanky need a potion of healing?
Spanky's like,
no, all good. A good night's sleep, I'll be good as new, fit as a fiddle.
All right.
Right.
Cool.
As a matter of fact, if
I
the
was a
next
little
thing
worried
that's
about
going
you,
to
buddy.
touch my lips is some ale.
You didn't take any damage off of me, DM.
oh wait, how much was your damage?
Just 1.
All right, 1 for you. Yeah.
Let's go get some ale and get.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
so I'm gonna move the party. I'm gonna move the lot of you towards the front door, and then we're gonna end.
Can I, did I witness where Dinjarin put his deck of cards? Is it reachable?
It's always reachable, in the sense that you can always try to.
You can try
mug
to
him.
steal it.
Yeah.
You could either ask me for it and see if I'll give it to you, or you could try to slide of hand and steal it if you want.
But it's and correct me if I'm wrong, Dinjarin. My assumption was I'm trying to remember from eons ago, that this deck of cards is stuffed in front pocket under your shirt, right? It's not a.
It would be a very difficult steal. You could try, but it would definitely be It's basically like tucked into my armor. So that
Did you want to, through all this chaos, Glory, did you want to try to steal the deck of many things? Or do you want to wait? Let's wait until next session, and you can whisper to me what you want to do. That way,
I was
Dinjarin
just
should
curious,
know.
I just wanted to know like how he stored it. If it was something that was like really hard to get to,
Oh, yeah.
I would rather have the relationship with Dinjarin than to seem like a, like a meth addict trying to steal.
Yeah.
I'm not that obsessed, but I am obsessed.
I was gonna say, in all honesty, I had no problems stealing from you in the past. And as I don't think all of you quite know that I'm changed lawful good. You just know I'm acting different, just not that. So
I have a sense because of what you've said to me. So that kind of like defers me from. Plus, you did give me the sword, even though you didn't know what you were giving me. You did give me the sword, so we have like a history of.
True.
Like it borderlines like this works. It's not perfect, but it works.
Oh, Glory, quick question. I'm part of so your familiar Salem. Did you want Salem to stay on the ship, so you have some sort of telekinetic connection to him? Okay, that's why I assume because he's still on the ship. Yeah. So the rest of you find yourself at the front gate of the Pickled Wyvern. It's super exciting. It's a lovely place. You can smell the scones, Glory. There are scones here. You haven't smelled scones since Madame Friona's, and you barely got a bite before you were off on an adventure. And again, you guys have been on airships and largely underground, right? You went from the Jade Temple, right, the underground crypt, to the aquatic crypt, right? All of this sort of in succession. So like, there's been a lot going on for you guys, right? It is nice for you to be outside. There's a warm, fiery glow coming through the windows, around you. You hear people bustling. You hear food and trinkets and conversation, and it all sounds like happy. And that's where we're going to pick up when next we play.
Wait, Okay.
Yes, you can. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Ask.
I was gonna say I'm still kind of like itchy about the fact that I lost everything. Can I see if anybody in the bar might have something of interest to me?
In the next
next
session,
time?
you can absolutely, because there'll be plenty of time for talking to merchants and whatever else. And let's not forget, some of your base magic items, they're gone for like they disintegrated. But your important stuff is just lost.
Right.
And just to make sure, it's not like she can never have magic items again, right? It was just what she had at that time.
No. It was just the consequence, drawing that card, the consequence was double bad for you, Gloria, because you're a magic user, right? So like if you were a fighter, you would have lost maybe a magic sword. But you like legit lost half your inventory, right? Yeah. Now, to be fair, I would say 80% of those magic items you never used, never talked about, right? It's really the Baphomet stuff that's breaking your heart. That gem that you picked up on Thorn Island was kind of cool, right? For some of its properties. But in general, most everything that you've had was magical, but not amazing. Let's not forget, like you guys have been in some pretty fixed, like you said, underground, and that you can recoup. Right, what's lost.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm kind of pissed about the orb. I'm pretty pissed about the sword.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like the orb is probably the worst of it. So yeah.
Actually, out of curiosity, and this would be doubly bad for her then. Since the orb disappeared, does that break her attunement, or is she still attuned?
No, she lost her attunement to everything.
Oh, okay. Because I know I remember you saying something if she goes too far away from the orb, like there was a consequence while she was attuned, right?
Yeah.
So,
the only way that she could break that attunement, literally the only way that she could break that attunement without severe consequences, was the deck of many things. Right? But I will say one thing, Glory, and I know you hate when I say this, but like something that's sort of rattling around your head is the one item that could have potentially been used as a negotiation point for when that dragon eventually finds you guys was that sword, that thing that he wanted. and you no longer have it, and he's probably not going to believe you, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it does exist. It exists somewhere. That sword and that orb both exist somewhere.
Oh, see, now I'm tempted to pull a card, because if I get the wish card, I could wish to have that sword.
Or you could just wish for me to not to have pulled the card to begin with. That probably would have been a nicer.
You can't do that. It actually specifically says you can't wish to remove the effects of other cards. There was only one card that allowed you to do that, and I already used it.
But one of them does let you roll back time.
That's the one I already used.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, Thomas, if you want to know, in my notes, I did add a page that has all the cards that were already pulled. So I'm just going to keep track of it. So
yeah, because every time I update the campaign, it resets all of the tables.
Yeah. So I figured I'd just
which sucks.
Track that down.
Awesome. Well, this was an interesting. I thought you guys would have arrived here a long time ago. I did not expect the deck of many things having to crawl. I tell you, it's Glory. You can be a pain in the butt, but you are the character that keeps things weird. So
it's interesting.
Yes, you keep doing you. And was but I did a quick like, was the lag okay? Like, was the interface okay? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
because this is a very weird thing where I'm listening everything. I'm hearing the recording of everything and playing silently on my screen. So I just want to make sure that like the sounds were coming through and all of that.
Yep.
I will change one thing before we end. I'll give you one more thing. So that music that was playing, that doesn't seem appropriate for now. I think more of this.
Bird.
Yeah, so you hear the music coming from the tavern. That's a horrible one. I'm not.
I hear birds.
Do you have your music turned down in your interface? Do the rest of you hear music?
I can hear it through yours. I turned my music down, but.
Well, don't turn it down.
I have mine on low.
I worked so hard for your music. Put your music on. It does.
I hear it. Yeah, I hear it now.
Yeah, so you guys, like, there's music playing, there's people milling around, there's smell of scones and food, and there's wines and cheese and ale, and it's exciting. And in real life, just saying all of that made me very hungry. So, I say to you all, until we play again, it's always awesome, and hope you had fun. And next time. Cheers, all.
Bye.
Cheers. Thomas.
Thank you.